For nearly 50 years, 9 days in October have included tens of thousands of visitors and seeing special shapes flying high.
The most photographed event in the world is back, with hundreds of pilots descending on the land of enchantment as brisk autumn mornings along the Rio Grande transform the city we love.
From how it impacts our economy to our own memories of this one-of-a-kind event, it's a great time to be in New Mexico.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Todd Kurtz.
And I'm Royal Day. Join us as we take you behind the scenes
in what makes Albuquerque's International Balloon Fiesta the most wonderful time of the year.
We begin with anchor Kaylin Norwood.
It's all smiles as New Mexico's biggest and brightest event prepares for takeoff at Balloon Fiesta Park. For 9 beautiful days, onlookers can catch colorful balloons fill the Albuquerque skies, from the early morning glow to night magic.
We could not be more excited about putting on the 49th Balloon Fiesta in October this year.
So much excitement that this international event is happening this year, but there's going to be some changes for safety reasons. For instance, once you get inside of these gates, you're going to have to wear your mask in any indoor areas or crowded outdoor spaces.
This year, we have 15 different countries that have indicated that they will be represented in some form or fashion. So, the masks is just something that we've all become accustomed to, just in a normal way of life. And so we want to be able to extend that same kind of safety to all of our guests.
Tom Garrity, a spokesperson for Balloon Fiesta, says new this year, you'll also see more hand sanitizing stations. They'll be in all the remote restrooms or porta potties. And in the name of safety, some favorite events are canceled, like Balloon Discovery Center and Music Fiesta.
The crowds were too close in our mind, so we wanted to be able to cancel that event.
But with over 500 balloons expected to launch October 2nd through the 10th, there's still so much to enjoy.
We want people to walk away with a lot of great memories.
Kayla Norwood, KLAT Action 7 News.
And one way to make those great memories, riding in a balloon. Scott Appleman is the president of Rainbow Riders. He tells us they're flying over 300 people per day, and they've been taking balloon ride reservations for months. As we get closer to October 2nd, spots are filling up fast, but there are still ways to get in the air this year.
We have a standby line every morning the day of the flight. First come, first serve. And we usually have anywhere from 10 to 20 spots available on a daily basis.
Scott says there's also a standby list you can get on by calling Rainbow Riders at 1-800-725-2477.
Aside from balloon rides, one of our favorite Balloon Fiesta traditions is the food. One Albuquerque local who has been a food vendor at Fiesta for over 20 years is excited for his pandemic-born business inaugural year. You may recognize these signs, Just Squeezed, a local lemonade vendor. Most of their money is made through festivals, so during the pandemic, with no events in sight, owner Josh Lang had to pivot.
When the pandemic hit and we were just like thrown upside down like all of us, we just decided to open Lulu's pretty quick and fast and furious, really, as a drive-through, and it worked just beautifully, actually.
The coffee shop will join forces with its sister company at Balloon Fiesta, La Luz in the morning, then a switch over to Just Squeezed in the afternoon.
On those cold Balloon Fiesta mornings, those burritos really hit the spot.
Just perfect.
Yeah.
Cup of coffee, hot chocolate. Oh, it's a good morning. 588 hot air balloons and 671 pilots from around the world. At least that's what Balloon Fiesta usually looks like.
And we now go to Shelly Rabando at the Anderson Abruzzo International Balloon Museum, where she'll be telling us how COVID-19 is affecting travel for some Fiesta regulars.
Balloonists from all over the world enjoy what Albuquerque has to offer. I spoke to 2 international pilots to find out about their past experience here and their travel plans during this pandemic. The magic of Balloon Fiesta stretches far and wide, and the pilots are the force behind that magic. David Gleed is a balloon pilot from the Canadian province, British Columbia. He's been participating in Fiesta for the past 16 years with Pegasus, this beautiful black and orange balloon.
My first Fiesta was actually in the old Northfield on dust and gravel.
David has flown all over the world in championship events, but he says it's Albuquerque that's a favorite spot for good reason.
There are very few places I've ever seen with that kind of geographic setup where you can have the, as they call it, the box.
I really enjoy the Albuquerque atmosphere.
Sana Harres is a balloonist from the Netherlands and shares David's love for Albuquerque. This year's fiesta will be her third.
My first flight, I flew straight into the Rio Grande River, which is a scenery that's just you can't find anywhere else.
Typically, around 700 pilots come from all corners of the world, including the places you see here. But this year, because of the pandemic, travel plans are still up in the air for many pilots coming from all over the world because of restrictions, including David.
At the present time, you have to have a valid reason to come across the border, an essential reason. And unfortunately, going to Balloon Fiesta is not considered essential at the moment.
Sana will be meeting up with her husband, who lives in Michigan, and they'll drive to Albuquerque with their balloon.
Well, it's actually a brand new balloon that still needs to be named. So maybe you have a good idea.
Oh, wow. How about name it KOAT? A lot of Fiesta favorites for everyone at Fiesta. For David, it's Arabelle, the Wells Fargo wagon, and
I'm not sure if it's flying anymore. I don't think so, is the macaw.
And David says whenever he comes to Albuquerque, he always enjoys the new restaurants he finds, and he gets to explore Santa Fe. For KOAT Action 7 News, I'm Shelley Ribando.
It's something you hear about a lot around Balloon Fiesta, the Albuquerque box. But do you know what it is?
And what are your chances of seeing it when you're out here? KOAT 7 meteorologist Byron Morton has those answers.
There's so much to see at the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. Of course, there are the hundreds of balloons of all colors, shapes, and sizes, but there's one special shape that everyone always hopes for, and it's one that makes you use your imagination to see it. It's the famous Albuquerque box. Here's how it works. The Albuquerque Valley is sloped, with the north being higher than the south part of the valley. So that creates a northerly drainage wind during the overnight hours into the morning hours. So as the pilot lifts off from the field and fires up their burner, they will catch that northerly drainage wind and float off to the south. But up above the surface, higher up aloft, there could be a southerly wind aloft. And as the pilot fires up their balloon once again, they can catch that southerly flow of wind and float back to the north, and then let off their burner and settle back to perhaps the exact position where they began, creating a virtual box in the sky. But you can consider it a treat if you capture a true Albuquerque box. A study by the National Weather Service office in Albuquerque found that it happens about 3 times in the first 2 weeks of October. So our chances of catching one is about 1 in 5, or 20%. But when you do, it's magical. Byron Morton, KOAT Action 7 News.
Thank you, Byron. Now to a more somber occasion.
Yeah, when a balloon hit an overhead power line in June, 5 people were killed. Reporter Stephanie Muniz was on the scene that day and is here now to pay tribute.
For months now, this Albuquerque intersection on the west side is a reminder of New Mexico's deadliest hot air balloon crash. With the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, the lives of 5 people who died here last June will be remembered. The crash impacted our community in a big way, especially employees with Albuquerque Public Schools. Nick Molesky, Susan Montoya, her husband John Montoya, Marty Martinez, and his wife Mary all had ties to Albuquerque Public Schools. Nick Molesky was the pilot. His daughter is an APS counselor. Susan was an assistant principal at an elementary school, and her husband was an educator. Martin was a sergeant with the district police department, and his wife was active in the schools.
It's important to remember them because they were an important part of our community. And that was a staggering loss for us, and we haven't forgotten them.
Superintendent Scott Elder doesn't ever want to forget and says Fiesta tradition that focuses on schools and balloons is the perfect way to honor their lives.
We have an event called Albuquerque Aloft, where the balloons take off from all our elementary schools. And it's really a cool event. And the intersection of the balloons and the schools seem to be a really great way to do a remembrance.
A recent toxicology report from the FAA found cocaine and THC in the pilot system. But the NTSB has yet to confirm the cause of the crash. Albuquerque Aloft happens the Friday before the first Balloon Fiesta mass ascension. And this year, it's a way to pay tribute to the lives lost. Reporting in Albuquerque, Stephanie Muniz, KOAT Action 7 News.
In just a few minutes, we'll be talking to two KOAT veterans about their own memories of Fiesta.
Like in 2004, when the Smokey Bear balloon got tangled in a 645-foot radio tower with a pilot and 2 kids inside. Chief Meteorologist Joe Diaz and reporter Nancy Laughlin will reflect on that day and brighter memories of covering this most awesome event coming up.
Welcome back. A lot has changed since the 70s, including Balloon Fiesta.
Yeah, KOAT first broadcast the Fiesta in 1979 as Joe Diaz was just starting his career right here on Action 7 News. Let's check in now with Joe and Nancy Laughlin with some of their most memorable moments of Fiesta.
Okay, we're here with Nancy Laughlin. My name is Joe Diaz, and we've covered a lot of balloon fiestas over the years, right, Nancy?
It's so beautiful. What a gift we have to be in this city, in this state,
Yes.
for this amazing event.
My first one was in 1979. It was called Sims Field, not too far from where Topgolf is right now. And I remember, why do we want to get up before the sun comes up and you're driving on a dirt field and some fences are laid down so you can park? We have it really good now with this beautiful field we have.
Oh, we're spoiled with that. I don't know if people remember the dirt.
Yes.
Going out there, I remember going out there when it was a dirt field.
It was
and-
dirt,
yeah.
it was tumbleweeds, and you're standing in dirt, and you're eating your donut, and you're drinking your coffee, your hot chocolate on dirt, and the balloons are laying out in the dirt, but you didn't know any better. The 300 balloons went up that year. 300 went up in 1979, and I go, wow, I've never seen anything like this in my life. This is something
incredible.
very, very unique to New Mexico.
We're so gifted. I remember we had just moved here from Clovis when I was a little girl, and seeing, like being on the school bus and seeing these balloons up in the sky and thinking, oh my gosh, this is so incredible. It's so beautiful. And then being able to, as an adult, end up working in the TV industry and covering that, that was so exciting. It was just, it's so magical, and it still is for me. Gosh, this is years ago. I was a weekend morning anchor and being on set and then, you know, covering Balloon Fiesta. And it was always beautiful, always exciting. And then something happened with the Smokey Bear balloon.
Oh, I
and
remember that.
It hit this antenna. And thank God everyone was okay. It was just one of those moments where you're holding your breath. I literally went from the set and then ran out there and it was like, what's going on? But that's one of the events that you remember.
Those kids had to negotiate, what was it, 80?
Going down
80
that
feet or
tower,
something like
yes.
that? Yeah, that was amazing.
And the pilot knew what he was like, hold on, and he was guiding them.
It was drama, but when those kids finally were on the ground, that was a very good sight. A few years later, they rebuilt the Smokey Bear balloon, and it flies to this day.
We are so lucky and so fortunate to have this amazing event here in Albuquerque, here in New Mexico. Hope you get to enjoy it. It's incredible.
It's going to be a fantastic Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. There's nothing like it anywhere in the world. Back to you.
Stay with us during all of our coverage for Balloon Fiesta, where we'll be sharing more memories from Nancy and Joe.
Now, Balloon Fiesta is not just about hot air balloons, but gas ones too. And just because you can fly one type doesn't mean you can lift off in the other. We join Doug Fernandez back at the Balloon Fiesta Museum.
They look the same but different. There are teardrops and special shapes for hot air balloons, kind of like these, but there are also gas balloons, which for the most part are perfectly round like the one you see above me, and these can fly for days.
You know you are going for a lot longer time. You're not going up for the typical hour flight.
So that means training for these pilots is a lot different.
You have to do a lot more preparation, a lot more organization of what you're going to take with you.
Like food, clothing, and yes, a porta potty. With hot air balloons, you're up for a little while, then back down. So these pilots are very familiar with where they can land, but not so much with gas balloons.
If you're going 48 hours in a gas balloon, you're most likely going to be landing someplace that you're not familiar with.
The wind usually takes gas balloons east or northeast, and sometimes they run out of dirt and actually have to land right before the Atlantic Ocean. So
There's also a much larger unknown factor in flying gas balloons.
But what is known is they can spend up to 5 days airborne in a 4x5 basket just like this one. Doug Fernandez, KOAT, Action 7 News.
Gas pilots also have a meteorologist on the ground guiding them with weather updates. A documentary is out right now about some of New Mexico's most beloved hot air balloonists.
Yeah, it's an inspiring film that highlights the bravery and dedication of Richard Abruzzo and Carol Reimer Davis, and also tells the story of their tragic deaths.
There's something that's very universal about this film. It really touches the human spirit and gives a point of view that most people really don't see.
Michael Rosen is the executive producer of Wind Riders, a documentary featuring Richard Abruzzo and Carol Reimer Davis, the World Championship gas balloon racing team, as they're determined to recapture their title in the oldest aviation race, the Gordon Bennett Cup. Rosen says the director of the film, Emi Katayama, had incredible access to their journey.
As a filmmaker, what's quite extraordinary is the idea of lost footage. It's really intimate, personal footage that she got.
You'll soar with the team as they battle treacherous weather and test the limits of their mental and physical endurance. The film's crew describes Richard and Carol as making no compromise in their quest for the world title, and they pay a tragic price for doing so.
She found the opportunity to tell their story that really has never been told before in a very unique and personal way, and take that unfortunate, tragic event, but also and tell the story, but also find inspiration behind it, and really underscore the passion that all balloon pilots have for the love of ballooning.
You have to push the balloon to its absolute limits. You have to push yourself to the absolute limit.
Wind Riders also follows the journey of Bill Hughes, a former Navy pilot who shares his passion for the sport of hot air ballooning. As he shares his knowledge and love of ballooning, viewers learn more about the purpose and meaning he finds in each flight.
It brings out the child in everyone. People just love balloons, love to see them.
Rosen says Wind Riders is a documentary with drama and inspiration, and New Mexicans will find it especially touching as it details the lives of two of our beloved hot air ballooning pilots. You can watch Wind Riders on iTunes or other popular VOD platforms.
Nowadays, we talk a lot about the film industry boosting New Mexico's economy, but years before that, New Mexico relied heavily on tourism from Balloon Fiesta. $186 million.
That's an incredible sum of money.
That's how much economists believe Balloon Fiesta brings into New Mexico.
That goes into lodgers' taxes, that goes into gross receipts taxes that benefit the city, county, and the state of New Mexico as well. And so it's an incredibly impactful, large event.
According to this report from 2019, the economic impact of Fiesta is equivalent to major sporting events, large trade shows, and political conventions.
There's about 1,400 employee jobs that the Balloon Fiesta alone created.
But that was before COVID-19.
Without a doubt, the times are different now.
Oh, it's really just too soon to tell. Our main focus is always to have 9 days of safe flying events.
According to economists, about 71% of the people who come to the Fiesta are from out of state.
What that means is that all these out-of-state visitors spend money in certain areas. They buy goods in our shops and services, they spend money at restaurants, and they spend money at hotels. And the amount of money that they spend is really significant.
Many people may not travel this year.
People's ability to attend the Balloon Fiesta will depend on their comfort level with either getting on an airplane, being able to drive, or be able to find a way to get to Albuquerque to attend it, as well as their own confidence level. So it will be a challenge for the Balloon Fiesta to hit 2019 attendance numbers in a meaningful way.
All we ask is that people bring their mask to Balloon Fiesta and that everybody just, use common sense.
Now, it's the moment you've been waiting for, as it's a Balloon Fiesta fan favorite.
Next up, Arabo, Hamlet, and the special shapes, how they measure up and what makes them harder to fly when we come back.
A favorite for many at Balloon Fiesta is the special shapes.
Yeah, Sasha Lenninger shows you two of the most well-known and explains why they're harder to fly.
And this year, special shaped balloons are spread out all across the field here at Balloon Fiesta Park. There are 90 different ones representing 6 countries. It's a knockout every time these two heavyweights get airbound.
The balloon that I fly at Balloon Fiesta is called Hamlet.
Standing at 100 feet tall, 60 feet wide, and 80 feet long, he's known as the world's largest flying pig. Meet Hamlet.
And believe me, that's a lot of ham to get up in the air in the morning.
And she's known around the globe, standing at 80 feet tall, 120 feet long, with an envelope weighing in at 910 pounds. Meet Arabelle.
She's about 3 to 4 stories tall when she's fully inflated.
These are 2 of the 90 special shape hot air balloons you will see at this year's Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta.
When I was a little kid, that was my dad's favorite phrase, when pigs fly, because I'd always say, Dad, I need a new baseball glove. He said, yeah, sure, kid, when pigs fly.
Pilot Doug Gant has been in Hamlet's corner since 2002. The international star now calls Albuquerque home.
People who crew for us, they're actually called piglets.
And known as the cow. This lady got the name Arabelle in 1995, but took a short hiatus from Fiesta back in 2019. She holds the title of one of the biggest balloons at the event.
We're glad to be a part of it again, and we're excited. We've got crew coming in from all over the United States.
Now these balloons, they need a lot of space. So in order to lay out the envelope of Arabelle, she needs at least half an acre of land. That's the size of roughly all of these tennis courts.
It takes a minimum of about 16 to 20 people to totally take her out.
It's not just being able to launch from a great area, but be able to fly towards a secure area that's a big area, big enough for them to land in and lay out in.
Flying these balloons is a bout of its own.
We want good winds. We want Mother Nature to smile on us that particular morning.
If it's too windy, because she's got so many appendages with their arms and legs, it makes it very difficult for us to put her up.
With Hamlet, with the wings sticking out from the side, if you get a breeze, you'll actually start to turn him clockwise or counterclockwise, which makes it interesting when you're trying to fly.
But when the weather is right, they go the distance and give a championship performance every time they take flight. There are also 10 special shape rookies at Fiesta this year. They include Baby Monster from Brazil, Freddie the Fox, and a sloth. At Balloon Fiesta Park, I'm Sasha Leninger, KOAT Action 7 News. Back to you.
Thank you, Sasha. Now, many of those special shapes are part of the daily balloon glows. A tradition was invented in Albuquerque, 1979, when local pilots inflated balloons on Christmas Eve for local residents just to admire. By 1987, Balloon Fiesta launched an official glow, the largest in the world. That still persists today. Balloons fire their burners and light up at the same time from the ground. This happens both at dawn before Mass Ascension and in the evenings before the fireworks show.
What's a balloon fiesta without some natural artwork? For years, wood carving has been considered a fun tradition at the annual event. Popular pieces are displayed and auctioned each day of Balloon Fiesta. Indiana's own Bear Hollow wood carvers will be here this year showing off their skills. They were also here in 2019. One artist says he's excited to return to the land of enchantment.
I noticed something about that place that I've never seen before. Everybody was in a great mood. Out of all those people, there was no fights. Everybody just had a smile on their face. Everybody was just so happy to be there.
Artists say the most popular wood carved items include bears, eagles, and American flags.
So, are you a Balloon Fiesta pin collector?
At KOAT, quite a few of us collect them every year, but none of us have a collection like you're about to see.
Welcome back. Ballooning pins are available each year for the glow and even for each special shape.
Yeah, and some collections are enormous. Here's reporter Stella Sun.
Pin collectors say the pins with special shapes like this are wildly popular during Fiesta. Some love them so much, they have thousands. For over 40 years, Steve's collected Fiesta pins of all different shapes, sizes, and colors. He estimates there are over 2,000 in his collection.
The people that I meet, they have a pin trading on Sunday, and there's probably 60, 70 people. You only see them once a year, and they're like old friends.
Steve says there are many others with pin collections in the thousands, and he's ready to reunite with old friends. Pin trading sessions will happen Sunday morning, October 3rd, and Saturday morning, October 9th. Reporting, I'm Stella Sun, KOAT Action 7 News.
Thank you for joining us.
From everyone here at KOAT, happy Balloon Fiesta. We'll see you on the field October 2nd, right here on KOAT 7.